I collect stories. Not the kind you find in books, but the ones whispered between generations. Stories that live in the cracks of old houses and in the quiet things people try to forget. This one came from Vermont, a town so small it doesn't appear on most maps. Locals call it Hollow Pine, a place where fog seems to move with purpose. Every fall, the Turner house stands like a silhouette at the end of the main road, windows clouded, porch sagging, the kind of house that seems to breathe when the wind hits it just right. It had been abandoned for decades until Emily and Ryan bought it. They weren't ghost hunters or thrill seekers, just a couple looking for a cheap fixer-upper. Emily was an artist, Ryan a carpenter. They wanted a place where they could start fresh. They didn't know the house had other plans. It began the day Ryan found the attic door. It wasn't on any blueprint, not even visible from the inside, just a faint outline beneath layers of wallpaper. When he cut through the boards, a wave of dust and cold air rushed out, like something had been waiting. Inside, under the broken beams and cobwebs, they found a single wooden box. Plain, small, wrapped with a brittle string. And, inside that box, an envelope. The paper was yellowed, soft from age, sealed with red wax long dried and cracked. On its surface, written in graceful, faded ink, were the words, "Open 50 years after my disappearance." Emily turned the envelope over. The date below the message stopped her breath. November 12th, 1974. That was exactly 50 years ago, that week. Ryan laughed nervously. Probably some creepy time capsule. But Emily couldn't shake the feeling that it wasn't meant to be found. Still, curiosity is its own kind of curse. That night, beneath the flicker of their one working lamp, they broke the seal. Inside was just one thing, a black and white photograph. It showed a family, the Turners, the house's original owners, father, mother, 2 boys, a girl, and one more figure, half hidden at the back. Tall, blurred, like the camera refused to focus on them. Emily frowned. That's strange. The record said there were only 5 Turners. When she flipped the photo over, another message waited. Don't let her in. Her. They stared at each other, a silence thick enough to drown in. Ryan tried to laugh it off, but Emily couldn't. The handwriting was still dark, still sharp, not like something that had aged 50 years. They placed the photo back in the envelope and left it on the kitchen table. But later that night, when the house fell silent and the trees outside began to creak, they heard it. 3 knocks. Soft, slow, deliberate. Ryan froze halfway down the stairs. Emily stood by the window. Through the fog, she saw a figure at the gate. A woman. She wore an old-fashioned dress, long sleeves, lace collar, the kind you see in sepia photographs. She wasn't moving, just watching. "Probably a neighbor," Ryan said, though his voice cracked on the word neighbor. When he turned back to Emily, she was already pale. "The photo," she whispered. "Look at the photo." It was gone.
I collect stories, but sometimes the stories start collecting you. The morning after that first knock, Emily woke up to find the envelope back on the table, sealed again. The wax looked fresh, red, wet. Ryan swore he hadn't touched it. He left early for work, trying to laugh off the unease, but I think he was glad to leave the house. Emily wasn't. She spent the day upstairs, painting, or trying to, but the air felt heavier. Each brushstroke seemed to echo. Each corner of the house whispered. And then, around noon, she heard a voice. Not loud, just a faint hum, like someone singing through the walls. "Come home, come home." She followed it to the attic. The box was still there, but something was different. A small trail of dirt led from the attic door, down the stairs, into the hall, and there, on the wall, was the photo, pinned neatly. But the faces had changed. The Turners were still there, smiling their frozen smiles, except the tall, blurred figure was no longer in the background. She was standing with them now. That night, Ryan returned, tired and irritable. Emily tried to explain what she'd seen, but the words didn't sound real. So she showed him the photo. Only it looked normal again. 5 people. No woman. "Maybe you just need rest," he said, and she tried to believe him. But then came the knocking again. 3 knocks. At the exact same time as the night before. Midnight. Ryan grabbed a flashlight. It's probably some kids messing around. He opened the door. No one was there, only the fog and footprints, small, bare footprints leading away from the porch into the woods behind the house. He followed them halfway before something in the dark made him stop. A smell, damp, metallic, like old blood. When he turned back, the front door of the house was open, and Emily was standing in it. She looked dazed, her eyes unfocused. "She was here," she said. "She said she used to live here. She said her name was Clara Turner." Ryan froze. "That's the name on the deed," he whispered. "The woman who disappeared. The one from 1974. The next morning, they found the photo on their doorstep, but now it showed something impossible. Emily and Ryan were in it, standing with the Turners.
And behind them, that same blurred woman, one hand resting on Emily's shoulder. They packed their things that night, but when Ryan went to start the truck, it wouldn't turn on. The battery was dead. He walked back toward the house and stopped. Every window glowed faintly red from inside, as if lit by candles. And in one window, the attic, a silhouette, moved. He ran inside, calling for Emily. The house was colder now, almost freezing. Upstairs, the attic door stood open. Inside, Emily was there, standing perfectly still. The envelope was in her hand. "It wasn't 50 years," she said. It was 50 nights. The attic clock struck midnight 13 times. And when Ryan blinked, she was gone. Only the photo remained on the floor. Now it showed the Turners and 6 people, Ryan among them. When I visited Hollow Pine last winter, the Turner house was still there, empty. The realtor told me it's been under renovation for years, but no one ever lasts more than a few weeks. Sometimes, when the fog gets thick, neighbors say they see a woman standing by the gate, holding something small in her hands, an envelope. And if you listen closely, just before midnight, you might hear the sound of a 13th chime. A warning that some stories aren't meant to be opened.